Was literally the best thing I ever did. It's super awkward. Everything is gonna go the way it's supposed to. Covering up your sleep deprivation. Kind of procrastinated last semester. The confident individual that I know you are. It just gets easier. I'm just saying. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Elsa and I am a sophomore at Baylor University studying communications and violin performance. And I thought today I would just sit down and film a little video on some college advice that I would give specifically to freshmen. I know it's that back to school season and a lot of you are heading out to college soon, and a lot of you are going to be freshmen and you've never gone to college before. So I hope anything I say will just be helpful to you. I know that I wish I would have had this advice, so hopefully I can pass along any bit of knowledge to you guys. But thank you guys so much for being here, and before we get into it though, make sure you are subscribed to my channel if you're not already, and if you like this video, please give it the big thumbs up because that really helps me out. And yeah, let's just get into the advice. So I'm gonna try my best for this to be somewhat organized, although this is a lot of random thoughts. But number one, I would say just be flexible. I think going into college, I was so type A that everything had to be planned, everything had to be scheduled, and if something didn't go according to the plan, I would kind of freak out type of thing. And so in college, you just learn to be so much more chill about things. Sometimes your class schedule is going to change. Maybe your professor's office hours are at a really inconvenient time that day and you're gonna have to rearrange your schedule to accommodate their time. Sometimes you're waiting to get into a class like 2 days before class starts. So just be aware that it's not all exact as maybe you're used to. Things might not go according to plan, and that's okay. And that might be like super obvious to a lot of people, but to my type A people out there, it's definitely something you have to kind of mentally prepare yourself for. Just being flexible is really, really important to not get stressed. When we're so rigid in our schedules, when it doesn't go according to plan, that's when people like me can like panic or just get like upset. Don't stress yourself out. Know that everything is gonna go the way it's supposed to. Realize that yes, I planned, but also I'm holding those plans loosely in case they change. Alright, the second piece of advice I would give to you guys is just to reach out to people. I know when you're moving to college as a freshman, you're getting adjusted to living in a brand new space. You're meeting a ton of random strangers every day that you're supposed to become friends with, and it's just really overwhelming. So even though it's overwhelming, still please reach out. Just be in class and just look around you, see the people you're sitting next to, ask them their name, where they're from, just try to get to know them. It's super awkward when you've sat next to these people the entire semester and you have not said one word to them. Maybe ask the person who sits next to you if they want to do homework with you sometime, or just get coffee sometime or something like that, because it's very unlikely that you will ever be in an environment like college where you're meeting hundreds and hundreds of new people all the time basically. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I know that when we're super overwhelmed and stressed, we can kind of seclude from everybody. Try to be the confident individual that I know you are. Try to be that person that breaks the ice, because if you do that right off the bat, it just gets easier. I'm just saying, it just becomes second nature to you. A lot of the time, people are too scared to do it, but if you do it and you lead the way, that will inspire other people to kind of be more friendly and open. As a freshman, y'all are gonna be probably pretty desperate for friends, and I mean that in the best way possible, just because y'all have just moved from a different place to your university. No one really has their group yet, and so just try to make as many connections as possible, because I know so many people that if I never said hi to them, I don't know if we would be friends today. So that's kind of a weird concept. You never know who you'll be friends with just because you said hi. Alright, this next piece of advice has to deal with academics, and that is to, number 3, start early. So if you have those projects for the semester, if you have that book to read or that report or paper or essay to write, make sure you start it early. This is coming from someone who
kind of procrastinated last semester. semester.
Now, I understand that it's not always possible to do that, especially if you're taking like a really heavy academic load, but starting early and doing it in little stages is so beneficial. I am someone who gets very overwhelmed if I have to cram something. It's possible, I can do it, and I can do well, but it's not really my first choice. And if you can avoid stress in college, like by all means do it, just because it alleviates a lot of unnecessary stress, because when you're stressed your cortisol levels rise and it's just not good. And so if you can, start those projects early. So speaking of stress, college, as you know, is really stressful sometimes. You just have such a big academic load and you're just learning so much in a very short period of time, and you're expected to keep all your grades up. So it's really important to find ways to de-stress or find ways to just relax so that you can kind of just keep a really good mental headspace. Even though you're working hard, you're also at the same time finding ways to kind of refuel yourself, if that makes sense. For me, I love going outside for my walks around campus. I love going to the gym. I love maybe meeting up with a friend for coffee. But I find that doing things other than kind of being a couch potato is really much more beneficial for me, for my actual rest, because I don't know, you've probably heard, but when you're scrolling and stuff, your brain isn't actually resting. It's just in this cycle of like new information, and so it actually makes you feel more drained, even if you don't feel like it. Well, sometimes these simplest things are the most beautiful moments in life, and so if you can, just find those little ways that you can recharge so you can feel ready to go the next day. It's kind of that process of like, I'm stressed, but how can I also de-stress, and keeping that balance right there, because if we don't do anything to de-stress, our stress is going to be way high all the time, which is no fun, and our body does not like stress. So getting sunlight is so good for our mood and just for our energy levels. So those are the type of things I love to do to de-stress, but I'm curious, leave your comments down below. What do you like to do to relax? Plan a few fun things to look forward to. Oh, next weekend I'm going with my friend to this really cute coffee shop I saw, or I'm going to take this person to the farmer's market, or I'm just gonna take myself on a little date. Whatever it is, make sure you plan it, because if you don't plan something, it's probably not gonna happen. So make sure you schedule in those little fun moments as well, because college is so much more than just academics. Of course, that is your primary focus. That's the reason you're there, is to get a degree. But there's also the side of, I'm learning who I am as a person. So I encourage you to find those little activities that really bring you joy in life, because if we don't do that, we're just gonna be swamped with academics and it's not good for you. You have to have balance in your life. But like truly, you'll get burnt out if you don't take time to rest. So make sure you find ways to relax and enjoy yourself along the journey. This next piece of advice is for all my Christians out there, and that is to prioritize your spiritual health. I know for me, it's super easy to kind of neglect that, or to think I'm too busy for church, or I'm too busy to go to this little worship night thing, or I'm too busy for this Bible study, or whatever it is. But truly, you'll never have more time than you have now. The habits you do now shape you into the person who you are going to become. If I sleep in on Sundays and miss church every Sunday because I'm too tired, and that becomes a habit and that becomes who I am. Prioritizing your spiritual health starts now. It starts when you're maybe in college or high school, or wherever you are in life, because going to church, that's the time when my cup is filled and I just learn so much that I can take with me through my entire week, and it's just such an encouragement to me. If going to church is something important to you, like, keep doing that when you're in college, because so many people skip it. So many people just say they don't have time for it, but I'm a firm believer that everyone has time for the things that they want to do in their life. It's just a matter of, is that thing important enough to you? That even goes for like devotionals or reading your Bible. Like, I'm not the best at that, but I will definitely try to kind of schedule my time so I at least do something like that. So I just want to encourage you, like, keep going, because I know a lot of people who stop going once they hit college, and that's just never good. So make sure you prioritize your spiritual health. It's true, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Sleep is so important for success in life. in academics, when you're going to sleep, all that information you obtain for the day is stored in your brain. And so if you are not getting enough sleep, you're going to be sleep deprived, you're not going to be as engaged in class or as sharp in your thinking skills. But seriously, prioritizing your bedtime is so important, because if you get the bedtime down, you know when you have to wake up, and so you can plan for that 7 to 8 hours. For me, what works really well is going to bed around 10:30 and then waking up between like 6 and 6:30 a.m. That's just what works for me. I feel super good when I go to bed, quote, early and then get up early. College students are so sleep deprived, and I talk to people all the time who are just like drinking energy drinks all day long just to stay awake, and it's just so terrible for you. So much caffeine that is just not safe to consume in that quantity. Don't rely on coffee and energy drinks if you can. I mean, of course, an occasional one or whatever, but like, don't make it a habit, because what that really is just covering up your sleep deprivation. What you need is sleep, rest, and sunlight, all the good things that are free to us basically. And so I know it's not always going to be possible to sleep 7 to 8 hours. I think I read somewhere, and this could be wrong, but it was like, if you lose an hour of sleep, it takes you like several days to like make up for that 1 hour that you lost. So just think about it, like, if you pulled an all-nighter and you didn't sleep at all, that's gonna take you days to recover from. We all talk about it because we all know that sleep's important, but a lot of us don't take the action that's required to do that. Guys, know that I am not preaching at you at all. Like, this is so for me too, because sometimes it's just fun and you just want to stay up late, but sometimes you also have to prioritize your well-being. And I know for me, if I do not sleep well like 2 or 3 nights in a row, it's almost a guarantee that I'll get sick. It's so weird. Another reason to sleep well and to get enough sleep is for your immunity and just staying healthy. When your body's sleep deprived and there's also just all these little bugs going around, your immune system is gonna be down. But I kind of learned my lesson, and I realized I feel like crap if I stay up past this time, so I have to go to bed before then. And so that's just kind of how I dealt with it, but make sure you get your sleep. All right, the next piece of advice is scheduling in your physical activity. Make sure that it's on your schedule just like your other classes are. I know for me, I can make as many excuses as anybody, just being like, oh my gosh, well, I have this project to work on. I have to practice violin. Like, no, we can't make excuses, because when we make excuses, it just doesn't get done. It is just really, really helpful to kind of make a schedule and be like, no, I told myself, I wrote it down on a post-it note that I'm going to the gym from 10 to 11 a.m. I already told myself that. It's already on my schedule. It's just like a class. And so that's really helped me stay accountable to actually going. When you're in college, you sit a lot. You just are very stationary, and for me, I just don't feel my best when I'm that way. I feel very sluggish, I feel very tired, and just sometimes even weak, which is really weird. So that's why weightlifting is so important to me. But I do weightlift just to keep my body composition good, to keep my muscles healthy, to keep my bones strong. I know for me, I tend to go to the gym anywhere between 3 and 4 times a week, and I think that's a really good number of days for me, because it's enough that I can have like a rest day between days to have my muscles recover, but it's not too much to the point where I'm like burnt out from the gym. And then on the off days that are, I guess you could say, rest days, I'm still walking a ton on campus. I'm sometimes doing little arm weights in my dorm room or PT band exercises. Just keep yourself active, whatever that is for you, because ultimately you want to do something that's fun and that you enjoy. Get enough protein. I cannot stress this one enough. I see so many people at college who literally do not get enough protein. Not only just to keep our muscle mass good, but also just for sustained energy and feeling like you're full and feeling satisfied. If I don't eat a proper meal, like, I will be so hungry.
I need my meat. I need my protein.
I don't even track my protein, but like, I just know that I get at least probably 25 to 30 grams per meal. And I'm not like giving advice or anything, but I'm just saying like what works for me. So yeah, don't sleep on your protein, guys. A lot of the time college students don't really think about what they're eating, and honestly, if I didn't have health problems, I wouldn't think about it either. So I'm totally not throwing anyone under the bus, but it's just something to be like conscious of, and it's just something to kind of think about. Basically, what you eat affects so much of what we do. Just don't like minimize how important food is for you. So make sure you're getting enough protein. Stop caring about what other people think. This one might be super obvious to like everybody, but I think it's just worth mentioning again because I know when I went to college, I was kind of like, oh, like, what are people gonna think if I do this or da da da. Honestly, everyone is in their own world. Everyone is kind of focused on themselves, which sounds selfish, but it's kind of true. It's just like everyone's trying to survive. So really what you do doesn't affect them. You really don't need to worry about other people's approval, and that's something that I'm still working through. We can't go through life just being worried about what everybody thinks about us, because if we're doing that, we're kind of already placing ourselves in a box, and we shouldn't be, because life doesn't exist in just perfect little parameters. People's opinions just don't matter. I know that there are people who don't want to go to office hours or ask questions during class because they're worried like it'll make them look stupid or something, but like seriously, ask the questions in class. It really shows that you're not only just engaging with the teacher, but that you're also trying to learn for yourself. Sometimes people are just too scared to do it, too scared to ask the question. So maybe the question that you asked was something that they already had a question about, but they were just too scared to say it. If you know you need to go to office hours, go, and don't care what anybody else thinks. I went to office hours probably, I want to say like 3 days a week for this one class, like for the entire semester, and it was literally the best thing I ever did. I understood it so much better, and it was so great to just get that one-on-one time with the professor. Really, don't forget that you have office hours and tutoring centers available to you. I mean, you've already paid for tuition, so you might as well take advantage of all the university has to offer for just academic help, because ultimately it's you who wants the good grade, it's you who wants to learn. And my last piece of advice for freshmen, just telling you that it will get worse before it gets better, and I mean that in the most encouraging way possible. I know that when I got to school, I was just really overwhelmed. I honestly managed it pretty well, but I also was kind of stressed, and so it just took me like, I don't know, a month or two to just really get settled in my new place and my new roommate and all my random classes and learning about everything on campus and trying to find the building that I couldn't find and everything like that. So at the beginning, it's a lot of just thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I feel like I'm crazy. You may have those thoughts, but just know that those thoughts and those feelings are not gonna last forever. They will pass, and you will learn your way around campus. You will learn everyone's names that you need to know. You will feel more comfortable where you're sleeping. It will become more normal to you as time goes on. Just know that it will take time, and you're meant to be where you are. If you're not adjusting as well as the people around you, like, don't worry. Everyone adjusts at a different time. Just don't like beat yourself up about it. Make sure to give yourself grace in those circumstances. Like, realize that you're making this huge jump from high school to college. That's a really big change in such a short period of time. You realize that you are doing great and you made it this far. Like, you deserve to be at whatever university you are at. Kind of break it down. Take one day at a time. There are so many people around you who are probably going through the same thing. If you're feeling lonely at the beginning, don't worry, it will get better. You will make friends, I promise. So that is all the advice I have for you freshmen. I hope I didn't ramble too much, because sometimes I can ramble, just saying. And if there's anything that you guys want to add to any advice you would give future freshmen, feel free to leave it in the comments so we can all help each other out. I hope it felt like genuine, because truly I just want to help you guys out any way I can. And I know if you're feeling a little bit lonely or anxious about starting school, like, sometimes videos like this just help me feel a little bit more at peace. But again, thank you so much for watching. I had a blast with you guys today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!